if I could interview anybody on this podcast, who would it be? I just finished reading a book not too long ago, Stay Sane in an Insane World by Greg Harden. He's a counselor at University of Michigan. He taught all kinds of athletes in all walks of life, including Tom Brady, Michael Phelps, Desmond Howard, very high-level individuals before they were who they were. I'm just going to share some of the things from his book that were really helpful to me. All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Happy Hour with Hatchman. My guest was a no-show today, but I decided to still take this opportunity to just share some of my own thoughts. This is that side of things that not everybody always gets to see. Kind of frustrating at first when a guest doesn't show up, right? Like anybody that's in a service type of industry, when an appointment is a no-show, it can be frustrating. And that was my initial thought, was like, oh, what the heck, man? Like, you book time to do the podcast with me and then you don't show up. Come on, bro. But then I try to think a little bit deeper. It's like, I have no idea what's going on in that person's life. Like, I've had to cancel appointments before. I've had to cancel podcasts on others, either as a guest or even as a host. And so I know that life gets crazy sometimes, and there's might be something out of this individual's control, or maybe something terrible, God forbid, happened where he wasn't able to make it. So I sent him an email just saying, hey, sorry, I missed you. Love to reschedule. Hope everything's all right. Like, we just never know what's going on in another individual's life. Like, all of us are going through shit. And I feel like lately, there's a lot of tough things that people are dealing with. I'm on social media quite a bit, obviously. I try to share helpful information around real estate, around mortgage to, help, somebody get into a better situation, make more money, whatever, right? And it really causes me to reflect on, why it is that I do this. I've been a mortgage lender for 11 years now. I've been in the financial services industry for over 15 years. In the beginning, I'm going to be real, it was about money for me. I wanted to make just a ton of money. And I made that happen for myself. This is not to brag or anything, because honestly, I lost a lot of myself when I finally had made the money dollar amount wise in my mind that I had always been striving towards. When I achieved that goal, I got kind of lost and kind of stuck for a long time after that, because I had already accomplished everything I'd already wanted, and I was only in my 30s. And so that's something I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, is what happens when you accomplish all of your goals too early. Then what? Like, people talk about retirement. I feel like so many individuals are in that 9-to-5 job. You're going to work for however many years till you're 65, and then you're going to retire. And a lot of people's health declines during that time frame because they just don't know what to do. We are goal-striving individuals as human beings. We have to always and constantly be striving towards something. Otherwise, what are we doing? And so the stuff that I share it goes back to my belief of a win-win scenario. I help people get into homes and sell their homes and get home mortgages. I do this because it's a win-win scenario in my mind. And let me explain that to you. So in my job, I don't get paid an hourly wage. I don't have a check that shows up regularly every 2 weeks or every Friday. I don't clock in or out. I work as needed. And a lot of the times, especially on the real estate side of things, I'm spending money up front in hopes that I will get a paycheck from this. It's a big gamble. And it's nice. There's a lot of good money in this industry, but it's never a guarantee. And what I like about what I do is I don't get paid until my client gets what they want. The house gets sold. They buy the house. The loan closes. I get paid once they get what they need. So in my mind, that's a true win-win scenario. And that's why I do this. I do it because I'm just an everyday nobody. I am just me, just Braden Hatch. And I've figured a few things out along the way, and I love to just help people do the same, because right now I keep hearing it. In fact, I had a video that I posted today about how homeownership will always make you, more money in the long term rather than renting. And it got a lot of hate. I had a decent amount of people that were having my back and oh, absolutely sharing their success stories. And I love it when that happens. But a lot of people were telling me I was full of shit and that that's not the case. And that, oh, you should just rent and then invest the difference and between taxes and insurance and HOA. It's too expensive. And I don't know, I get kind of frustrated with stuff like that because I think it truly is a mindset thing. I'm kind of done arguing with people on if home ownership makes sense or not. I know it makes sense. The math is there, the stats are there. Like, there's a big reason why people that own homes are literally have 40 times the amount of net worth than those of a renter. And I know that's not always the case, but on average, that's the truth. It is a long-term play. You're buying something that is going to be worth more money in the future long-term. I'm not saying you buy it today, sell it a month later, and you're going to make a shit ton of money. That's typically not how it works. It's a long-term play. And I only know that because of what I've gone through. And I still see the trends going that way. Even the house I'm in now, the house I sold, I recently went through a divorce, as anybody that follows me on social media knows. I had picked up a second home back in 2020. So it's been 6 years. And I sold it just this past week and doubled my money. The amount of money that I spent on it 6 years ago compared to what I sold it for, doubled my money. Like, that's the difference in what real estate can do for you. And that was really cool because, like, you know, luckily I was able to afford a second home. But in the years that I wasn't able to afford the payments, I had it on Airbnb, and those would cover the monthly payments for the mortgage and the other bills. So again, like, real estate it's done so much for me personally that I'm tired of trying to convince people otherwise. But for those of you that just truly don't know where to go, like, you don't know how to get started, you don't know what to do, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help get it going. And that's true. And not only if you're a renter and never bought before, but if you're a homeowner now and you're feeling stuck and you feel like you're not leveraging, the equity or the things that you should be in the right way, or you would love to buy a rental property or an investment property or a short-term rental or whatever it might be. I've gone through that stuff. Not only have I lived it personally, but I help others do the same thing every single day. And so I'm happy to show you like what it takes, but that wasn't even the point of like what I was going into for this video. My guest didn't show up. I was like, who would be really cool to interview? So I was going through my mind, like, who could I call real fast that would be able to jump on, that would be available? And I was like, nah, like there's too many unknowns right there. So then my ADHD mind was like, man, if I could interview anybody on this podcast, like if I had someone's phone number and I could just call them and get them on here, who would it be? And I just finished reading a book not too long ago called Stay Sane in an Insane World by Greg Harden. The Tom Brady thing will make sense in a second, but I'm just going to share some of the things from his book that were really helpful to me. Let me give you a little bit of background on Greg Harden. So if you don't know who he is I'll just read his little cover thing here. It says he's a peak performance coach, a motivational speaker, and an executive consultant who's best known for his work with the 7-time Super Bowl champion quarterback, Tom Brady. This was Tom Brady's coach back at the University of Michigan. So basically this guy was a counselor at University of Michigan. He taught all kinds of different athletes in all walks of life, including Tom Brady, Michael Phelps. There were some other big ones in here. Desmond Howard. Like, this guy has worked with some very high level individuals before they were who they were, right? We're talking Tom Brady in college before he got drafted. And we all know Tom Brady's story of like, he was drafted, dead last. And, here he is, now he's the GOAT. There was an episode of 60 Minutes on this guy in 2014 where he was interviewed. James Brown, the guy that profiled him, said that he was Michigan's secret weapon. After reading the book, like, I totally see why, man. Like, he has so much cool stuff on here as far as like mindset. He would have athletes that would come into his office that when we're talking like Olympic level athletes and, University of Michigan, obviously anybody that knows sports, like the level that you have to perform at to be in that level, right? To go to the NFL, to go to the Olympics, for whatever it might be, like the dedication it takes, like, and he would talk about to these athletes that would come in maybe after an injury, or he talked about this one athlete who like tore his ACL and was no longer able to play football, and he had dedicated his entire life to that, right? Like that is a life-changing thing. And so he said he would talk to these athletes that they had dedicated their entire persona, their personality, who they are as an individual to that sport. If I'm not a football player, I'm nothing. And then when that football gets taken away, that can really mess with your head. And so he would like guide people through that and how to like find success no matter what, right? Even though it may not always go your way. I feel like we all go through similar things, right? We all have an idea in our mind of what it is we want to do in life and where we want to go. And then something happens along the way where that gets taken away or it's no longer a viable option. Something out of our control happens and we have to switch gears. And there's two types of people, right? Those people that let that become a defining moment to be lazy or to blame that situation and to just say, well, this is why I can't have anything, or this is why I can't be successful because this happened, is to use it as an excuse, as a chip, right? You know, the chip on the shoulder. Because then there's the other type of people, right? That take the things that they have no control over, that maybe was bad, really bad, right? And they use that as a stepping off point to become something even greater that maybe they wouldn't have been able to become had they continued down that path. It becomes a blessing in disguise. And I think about this because last year or so of my life has been extremely difficult. I was married for 16 years and got divorced, and it was my choice. You know, there was some things that had happened, and I had lost a lot of myself. I had lost a lot of my identity being a husband because, you know, I felt that my role was just to make lots of money, provide a good living, do everything for my spouse. And it just, no matter what I did, I just felt like it wasn't good enough. And so when I finally decided to, move forward and take that scary step of going through the divorce, like I felt really lost for a long time. Like I didn't know who I was. I would get random panic attacks, not knowing why. Like the regulation in your body is like such a real thing. The amount of stress that I was living with on a day-to-day basis, when that stress was gone, my body like didn't know how to react, and it was just like, ugh, dude, we need some chaos. We need a problem to solve. Like this is too calm. Like I was having panic attacks from things being too calm. Like it was nuts. But anyway, I'm getting a little off track here. I wanted to share just one little snippet of his book because I thought it would be really cool. He was reading a psychology textbook around the human mind. And the human mind has just enough short-term memory that we can easily remember 7 things. Get a little beverage here. It's Happy Hour with Hatchman. Happy Hour doesn't always have to be alcohol. This is some of my favorite stuff in the world. It's called yerba madre, which is, it used to be called yerba mate, which is what it is. It's a tea. And it's just my favorite thing in the world. So become the world's greatest expert on yourself so that you can become the best version of yourself. Honestly, that's why I do pretty much everything that I do is I'm just trying to become the best version of myself. I don't have any competition as far as I'm concerned. And I'm a real estate agent and a mortgage lender. Like there's a lot of us, there's a million different people you can choose to be your mortgage lender or your real estate agent. And I don't see any of them as competitors because there's only one competitor in my mind, and that's me, the guy that I see in the mirror every single morning. It's me against me every day, me trying to just become the best version of myself. But the way he phrases it of becoming the world's greatest expert on yourself, that I think is cool because as somebody who lost a lot of themselves, in my marriage and in just other things in life, I have let certain things, I think, define me. And when I was going through this journey of, figuring things out, I started meditating. I totally used to make fun of people that meditate. Like, you can make fun of me all you want. I get it. I used to make fun of people that would do it. All the yoga stuff, all the hippy dippy crap. Like, I was the biggest hater of that for the longest time. But I decided to try it because, as I said, I was getting panic attacks. I was having a hard time just living, just waking up in the morning and going about my day. When I was going through these meditation sessions, one of the things that would come to my mind was, past experiences as like a kid. Before you let others form their opinions and have their thoughts, like, we're all just representatives of the circumstances that we grew up in. We believe a certain thing because we were taught a certain thing, or maybe we saw something. Going back to the core of it, like thinking as a small child, like remembering who I am, like becoming who you are is a lot of remembering who you are. Like you came into this world a unique individual. Anybody that has kids knows that. I have 2 amazing kids, and they came as they are. Like the personalities that my children have, there's a little bit of me in there, there's some of their mom in there, but like they are them. They came the way that they came. Like they have, like my son is just the kindest, most gentlest, caring individual in the world. And then when he wants to be, he can be a total fucking asshole. But like he is who he is. That's what I'm trying to say. So like becoming the world's greatest expert on yourself is something I think we all need to do a little bit better at. There's so much comparison in this world. And one of my favorite quotes is, comparison is the thief of joy. When you're comparing yourself to others and trying to maybe get to be like them, or, you know, you wish you had this, or I wish I had a fancy car, or a big ass house, or whatever. Like you can only do what you can do. You are not them. You don't know what their circumstances are. Just like I have no idea what happened to my podcast guest that was supposed to show up today. I don't know what's going on in their life. Become the world's greatest expert on yourself, number one. All right, second one, control the controllables. I'll say it again. Control the controllables. Never forget that you are the only person who has control of your own mind, over your thoughts, and ultimately your own feelings. It's funny. I say this one quite a bit to my kids before I even read this book. There's really not a lot in life that you can control. You can't control stuff that happens. That's why it makes me laugh when people that are so invested in like the politics of things and they just complain about it and they're not doing anything. Like, do you have any control over that? So why do you care? The only thing you can control is the thoughts there, the things you say to yourself. And honestly, sometimes it doesn't even feel like that. Sometimes we get thoughts in our head and we're like, why did I think that? But it's yours. It's your thoughts, your mind. You have control of it more than you know. The way you speak to yourself inside your own little head is extremely important. When I was going through my meditation stuff, in most of my life, I never felt that I was good enough. Like I would finish every day, no matter what happened, thinking to myself, I could do better. I could do a little bit better. I'll do better tomorrow. And I thought that way for a long time, like literally up until I was 40, and I'm 41 now. First time I finally was able to feel that I am enough. Of course I could do better. But did I do the best that I could today? Absolutely. And sometimes that answer is no. I probably could have done a little bit better, but did I do the best I could with what the day gave me, with what went my way, the things that I was not able to control? Yes, I was enough and I did do enough. The only thing you can control is your decisions and your actions and your attitude and your thought process. Someone cuts me off in traffic. That used to really bother me. Now it's like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're in a hurry. Maybe they're rushing the hospital for a loved one. I don't know what's going on. You can take those little moments and let them ruin your day, or you can just move on and be happy. It really is a choice. Happiness is a freaking choice. I'm not going to let anybody tell me otherwise. This one I think is really important. And this is not just a sports metaphor. This is true with anything in life. So I'm going to just read this one out. Practice, train, and rehearse, giving 100% of the time. Because if you make this your mindset, then on your absolute worst day, you're still going to be better than the average person on their best day. I'm going to slightly disagree with this one here. I don't know that you can do 100% of the time. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this one because I'm kind of a little bit of both. I used to be that hustle mentality, wake up early, have the perfect morning routine, go to the office, crush the whole day, come home late at night, have dinner, tuck the kids in, and start all over again. I did that for a long time. And honestly, I am thankful for those years because it gave me a lot of the stuff that I have now. I worked my ass off really hard to achieve a lot of the physical and monetary items that I have now. But I'm in a slightly different chapter now. I'm a single dad. I've got full custody of my 2 kids. It's hard doing it all, running the house, running the businesses, being a parent, being present, making sure they're fed every single day, making sure they have the right fitting clothes, getting them to and from places, making sure that I'm doing things for them, that they're still learning and growing and not just glued to an iPad or a video game console all day, but like truly becoming the best versions of themselves. That's a lot to balance, and it's hard. And I don't always do it perfectly. I mean, nowhere near perfect. I feel like a failure in a lot of that stuff a lot of the times. 100% of the time. I guess that depends on what you need to give 100% to. If you're giving it just to like the day, like to your whatever you need to get done, like I'm a big to-do list person. When I wake up in the morning, I have a list of items that I want to accomplish. And I just write them all down in order of like top priority according to whatever might be going on. And then I review them right before I go to bed to see what I got done. And honestly, most of the time I don't complete the whole list. A lot of stuff gets rolled over to the next day and then new things happen. It's a difficult thing to do 100% of your best 100% of the time. Do your best. Practice, train, and rehearse. And I will say that is important. Like I had my first public speaking gig last year, on social media, talking to a bunch of real estate agents and loan officers on how to like generate business through social media. As much as I do this on camera stuff, the in-person in front of a large crowd, 50, 60 people by yourself is a little bit different of a ball game. Like I'm just here alone in my office right now. This is no big deal. But standing in front of those people, I was nervous. I was a little scared. I was excited. I was excited to do it, but still a little nervous. What I did is I practiced and rehearsed my speech that I was going to give over and over and over. I even had my kids. I was like, hey, come in the room real fast just so I can get your reaction. I want to just, rehearse this real fast in front of you. And so when the time came and I was the first speaker of this entire conference, like I was the first one of the day, followed up by a bunch of other ones. It was some pressure, right? You got to get the energy going. You got to get the crowd moving. Because I had practiced it so much ahead of time, it's just like muscle memory. And I got such good feedback from everybody that was in that group. They're like, dude, thank you so much for sharing what you shared today. That was really good. How long have you been public speaking? It's actually my very first one. Like it was the first time I'd ever done that. And people were surprised by that. So I thought that was kind of cool. Again, not to toot my own horn. Win-win scenario. I was able to share something that helped make my life better to others that are trying to do the same thing. And I know for a fact that if they put any of those things into practice that I mentioned, their life will get better as well, at least in that aspect. So anyway. All right, next one. We have read 1, 2, 3. That was 3. I guess it's a total of 7. Let's go. Commit, improve, maintain. Commit right now to improving your life. Make the changes one at a time. Continuously maintain those changes every single day. This is incredible advice, and I can personally speak to it. I was going through a lot of personal development type stuff quite a few years ago. I did the 75 Hard Challenge. I had gotten a little lazy in my physical stuff and gained quite a bit of weight and was just kind of unhappy with a lot of aspects of my life. This was around that same time frame that I made lots and lots of money. I had lots of that, but I was physically unhealthy, overweight, unhappy, not present, not home a lot. I was working, 60, 70-hour weeks, probably more, and I was tired. I made a commitment to my health after I saw a photo of myself that I was kind of disgusted with because I was like, dude, what happened? How'd you let yourself get that bad? A switch went off in my mind. So at that moment, I committed. One day at a time. 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes of exercise a day. That slow progression, one small little step, it improves over time. Because then, you work out 30 minutes a day, and then it just becomes like second nature, like waking up and brushing your teeth in the morning or making your bed, right? The little things that just now become part of our every single day. And so after I did all that, I did the 75 Hard Challenge, which is 2 45-minute workouts per day, a strict diet, no alcohol. You read 10 pages of a book every day. You drink a gallon of water every single day. And I remember during that 75-day time frame, how difficult that was for me to get through, but how excited I was when it was said and done. And I was thinking back to like just my day-to-day stuff right now, right? Like my time with the kids, running the business. On average, I am working out most of the times at least twice a day. I do a workout in the afternoon, and then I go on like a walk run in the evening, and then I do a little bit of yoga. I'm kind of already doing that. My 10 pages of reading a day, I probably do more than that. Like I read a book every morning with my coffee. I check my social media stuff. Almost my day-to-day life right now is kind of what I was doing with 75 Hard. And now it doesn't seem hard. It's just part of my day. Really, that's what it's all about, right? You commit to something, you stick with it, and you just do a little bit every single day, and then you just maintain that, and then you improve upon that, and that's how you can get to be the best version of yourself, which the best news is you never want to stop improving, right? Like I never want to feel like, oh man, these were the glory years. My best years are still ahead of me. Like, I've done some really cool shit and I've had some fun experiences in my life and I've done lots of great things. But I know that my best years are still ahead of me because I'm never going to stop searching for that next thing. And that's honestly my goal for everybody that I work with and everybody who works with me is like, let's get you to the next level, whatever it takes. Like, we're not done yet. We're just getting started. That's one of my favorite things to say. We're just getting started. This one's important. Listen up. Number 5. Stop being afraid of being afraid. The demons of fear and self-doubt are predictable, therefore manageable. Fear is part of being human, and courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is facing fear. This instantly makes me think of my daughter. So for New Year's this past year, it was, just the three of us, me, my son and my daughter, celebrating New Year's in our backyard. Nothing crazy, no big parties. Just the three of us celebrating the new year. My daughter, for the longest time, was afraid of fireworks. And she would out for New Year's and 4th of July and all those other big firework holidays. She would stay inside. 2026, New Year's, she's like, Dad, I'm facing my fears. I'm not going to be afraid of the fireworks. I'm going to go outside and I'm going to be around all of it. And she ended up loving it. And something happened in her because she faced a fear and she found out she actually enjoyed the thing that she was afraid of. And so and then another one was we sometimes do like polar plunges. We live in Arizona, so it's laughable, but jumping in the pool in the wintertime of Arizona, getting nice and cold. So she was always afraid to do that. And she jumped in the pool on New Year's Eve too and ended up loving that. Did it probably 10, 15 more times. I remember her being really excited that she faced so many of her fears minutes, seconds into the new year, and the hope that gave her that she was invincible. I've seen her grow so much this year, especially with, again, all that we've gone through as a family with the divorce, with, having an alcoholic mother. It's a difficult thing. These kids have had to go through some very traumatic things in their life. Some of the stuff that they've seen, some of the stuff they've had to do, and the stuff that they've opened up to me about in this past year, has been incredible. And the facing of the fears, like seeing that in my kids really gives me just so much hope for them. And, and that, I think that's a good challenge, right? Like, everything is on the other side of fear. Like, when we're scared to do something, it eats at you, and it can be an excuse to stay stuck and not move forward with certain things in life. You make excuses, and the longer you wait to face those fears, the more likely you are to never face them at all. And so take it from somebody who had to face those head on and just finally do it. We're talking years and years and years of waiting to do the thing. All the best stuff is on the other side of facing those fears. So I think that is phenomenal advice. All right, number 6. This one's so important. Practice self-love and self-acceptance. They are the key to replacing self-defeating attitudes and behaviors with self-supporting attitudes and behaviors. This doesn't get talked about enough. I had such an issue with this for the longest time. Again, most of my life, I felt I was a piece of shit and I wasn't good enough. The day that I finally decided that I was good enough is when major unlocks happened for me, when things really started to go my way. It really is a mindset shift that you have to make in your head, that you are good enough, and to practice those things that you enjoy in life. I can't imagine clocking into a job that I hate every single day. I did it for a little bit, and I'm so glad I didn't stick with it that long. But if you're stuck doing something that you hate, stop. Like, we live in such a tremendous land of opportunity where you can do anything. You can find a way. And I know there's going to be so many naysayers and people that give excuses and it just doesn't work that way. Why not? Will you make a little less money? Sure, absolutely. Maybe you won't. Maybe everything is on the other side of that. But practicing that self-love, self-care, self-acceptance is something really cool. My younger sister turned me on to this app called Finch. Finch. It's a free app. There's a paid version, but it's completely free. And it's a self-care app. Like, it has little to-do lists, and it's all like very friendly. You get this little bird basically that you like take care of. It's kind of like a new age Tamagotchi, but like, it's harder to kill. At least I haven't killed mine yet. So But this Finch app is really fun because it gives you recommendations on things for self-care that you can do throughout the day and every single day. And the more you do, you can earn like, like I think they're coins or something, and you can like buy little things for your bird and little micro pets. Like it's so cheesy, but like me and my sister, my mom, and my daughter have been using this Finch self-care app for over a year now. And it is so fun. Like some of the stuff on my to-do list is take 3 deep breaths. Another one is literally survive the day. Like that's the type of stuff that are on these to-do lists, right? Take a 1-minute breathing exercise, little things like that. We're just a few minutes out of your day, and it really does just kind of slow the clock down and, give you a chance to like get a greater perspective on things. Finch app's pretty cool for anybody that's maybe struggling with self-care. Great place to start. Super cheesy. You can friend me. I think I'm on there as Hatchman. I can't remember. Everything's Hatchman. So add me a friend on Finch. We'll have fun. And then finally, number 7, become the very best friend you ever had in your life, because your very best friend has to be you. Man, that I had to learn big time this past year. Anybody that's been divorced or gone through a divorce, when you're, again, I was married 16 years. And then when that person is out of the house and you're alone in the house, that can be a scary, difficult, silent time that unless you've gone through it, you don't understand it. It is so hard and so great at the same time. Anyone, again, if you lived it, you get it. That difficult, amazing silence. There's no other way to say it. Becoming best friends with yourself, right? Like that takes practice. It sounds weird, but it's, I really do enjoy being alone now. Like I really enjoy my time. And in fact, me and my 2 kids, it's so funny. Like, sometimes we have dinner together, but for the most part, like I'll cook dinner. So I'll usually eat with me and my son, but then my daughter almost always wants to eat alone. She's like, I need a moment. Just take a break from it all. I can't remember what she calls it, but she's like, I need to be alone. And I love that for her. Like, I don't get upset. I don't get like, what's wrong? Like, no, because I get it. Like we all need that little alone time where we can just be our own best friend. You ever take yourself out on a date? Are you the type of person that could like go out to the movies alone or go to a restaurant alone? I know the thought of that to some people is like terrifying. I love it. I love just going and grabbing dinner at a restaurant completely by myself. It's so fun. I used to hate it. I used to feel like a fucking jackass. I'm just like, who's this loser? And now it's just, it's a fun little reset. Half the time I end up meeting really cool people, and sometimes I don't. I just eat my dinner and head home. Anyway, figured I'd share my thoughts on those. That was the infos. For those of you who need to see it again, this is Greg Harden, Stay Sane in an Insane World. No true words. I mean, honestly, every single chapter of this book is incredible. He's got some like worksheets in here that you can fill out if you're, struggling. But it's just a phenomenal mindset book, very much life-changing. If you're not a physical book reader, I'm sure there's an audiobook version as well. This has been Happy Hour with Hatchman. Just the Hatchman today. Stay safe out there.